And
First in 9
Toronto
years.
won.
And Toronto won,
Yeah.
finally beat Boston.
Yeah, well, split out of Boston's not.
Okay. So I'd like to call our regular council meeting of Tuesday, April 23rd to order, respectfully acknowledging that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Quabbin peoples of Canada.
In Kessler.
May I have approval of the agenda presented, moved by Council Textall, seconded by Council Tidbury, all in favor? Carried. May I have adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting held April 9th, 2024? Moved Council Tidbury, seconded Council Textall. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. So tonight I have the honor of doing a presentation to Steve Johnson. And Steve, I'm wondering if you could come up here and we have a little speech, super long, but a little speech. So, but before I do it, I wanted to thank our CAO, Heather Nelson Smith, for submitting the nomination. So I get the honor of presenting because Heather did all the heavy work. Oh, sorry, Louise did all our deputy corporate officer did all the heavy work. So today we're honored to be here and to honor you, a remarkable individual who has dedicated over 4 decades of your life to the noble profession of firefighting. This BC Long Service Medal, I'm honored to award on behalf of the Governor General of Canada. It symbolizes more than just recognition. It embodies the spirit of service, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to community safety. Steve personifies the very essence of exemplary service. His journey began back in July 1975 when he first joined the Port Hardy Fire Rescue as a firefighter. Little did he know that his path would be marked by milestones of dedication and leadership. In December 1992, Steve was entrusted with the responsibility of fire chief, a role he served with distinction for 5 years, marking 22 years of steadfast leadership. During this time, he not only guided the department through various challenges, but also laid the foundation for its future success. Even when he pursued work elsewhere, Steve's heart remained in Port Hardy. He returned in 2017, heralding a new chapter of collaboration and growth with the Port Hardy Fire Department. He's been instrumental in updating standard operating guidelines, modernizing practices, and spearheading safety initiatives that have become the cornerstone of the fire department's operations. His dedication goes beyond the call of duty. Amidst the trials of COVID-19, Steve worked tirelessly to ensure the safety of the members and of the community at large. His efforts in developing protocols, formalizing procedures, and instituting a comprehensive driving program have not gone unnoticed. Thank you. But behind every firefighter is a pillar of support. And for Steve, that pillar is his wife, Anne. Her unwavering encouragement and understanding have been the bedrock of his journey, enabling him to serve with distinction and honor. So thank you, Anne.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Today, as we bestow upon Steve this well-deserved recognition, let us not only celebrate his achievements, but also reaffirm our commitment to upholding the values of service and sacrifice that he so admirably personifies. Chief Johnson, thank you for your dedication, your leadership, and your tireless efforts in keeping our community safe. You are a true inspiration to us all. Congratulations, Chief Johnson, and may your legacy continue to inspire generations to come. We have this 25-year plan. The 25-year service recognition. Yeah, you want to-
Do we want to go in the entry and do it where it's a little bit prettier?
During the entry.
Just give us 1 second. And then that way you can get a better photo as well. If we do-
Don't forget.
Yeah. So we don't see the glare of the. That for another email.
You're the end of the agenda. Like what? If they don't pay it by 2023, it says something like that.
This is.
Oh, I have seen it somewhere.
This is the plan.
Yeah. Yeah,
But that doesn't fit for everybody.
no, it doesn't. And
Very few.
This is what the feds.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Only so many people qualify for that.
Well, that's right. You've got to be,
Not very many.
well, it's only up to 70.
Yeah, but you gotta be 50 years old.
Yeah.
And then you gotta have no income.
Well, no, no, not quite no income, but it's pretty low.
Very low.
Yeah, but it does. And of course, nobody in Port Hardy's.
well, they have to have a dentist. to take
Yeah.
part in the program.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
don't have a dentist here.
No,
In fact, a lot of them are not even opting out anyway, so.
yeah,
No, the one in Fort McNeil who is here.
Something.
Yes.
job back.
But where do you get rid of?
Nice. Well.
Travel on out.
The arguments that happened, between physicians and the government, when Medicare was brought in.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sometimes my grandfather.
Thanks, Stevie. Good to go. Proud of you, man.
Thank you.
What's that? That's right.
That's number
You actually said it. Thank you.
Fix it.
Well, then there you go.
So you're welcome to stay here for the whole meeting.
Should be a rule.
It's on the agenda. It's a gentle agenda.
Thank you, everyone.
On behalf of our,
Thank you.
on behalf of our department as well too, I want to thank Steve for his service to our department. I
Yes.
think we all, I know we all look up to him, talk to him about all kinds of things, bounce things off him. He's at my call anytime we've got a question. So on behalf of the department as well, Steve, I'd like to thank you for your service and your continued service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I'll just tell you a little story of when Steve was in the department
Oh, yeah.
and in the older hall, and his little office was right underneath the stairs. Do you remember that? It's just a little cubicle.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were gonna tell a real story. We don't talk.
I thought he was gonna tell a real story.
No, I just thought I'd be polite and, you know,
Thanks, John.
The whole stays.
that's right, stays in that hall.
Well, thanks very much, people.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Or something, Bob?
Yeah, that works. Shoot me a text or something.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
We have our business arising, our council action item report regarding dated April 9th for information. Any comments, questions? Any word back from the art branch?
Not as of yet, and it'll be coming directly from our archaeologist.
Oh, is that right? We have no new business. We have correspondence from the Honorable Ravi Cohen, Minister responsible for housing, read Bill 16 proposed housing legislation changes for information. Any comments?
Sounds onerous to me.
I see.
How is that gonna hit us?
I don't think it affects us.
Is it really gonna affect us at all?
Be doing extra work,
Yeah,
yeah.
So if it's okay, I'll just kind of give a little bit of a highlight. So the majority of the housing stuff, so the small scale multi-unit housing, which is what I reported on, I believe at the last meeting and the meeting before, we're already meeting that compliance. The next one that's kind of hitting us right now is the Airbnb and short-term vacation rental regulation, which I don't know if anybody has been following it, but those communities that are over 10,000 are required to register. Well, sorry, everybody's required to register. But those communities that are over the size of 10,000 are only allowed to have
So-
one in their principal residence only, which means you can't own another property somewhere else and have a short-term vacation rental. And there are a couple of exemptions. One is if you're a resort municipality or if you've applied to the province in order to be exempted. Smaller communities under 10,000 have the right to make up their own regulations, and which the district court already has, or adopt the province's standard. As you know, the district court already has a short-term vacation rental strategy, which says you can have one per property per owner, which means that if you own more than one piece of property, only one of those can be used as a short-term vacation rental. And so if you have more than one unit on that property, only one unit can be used as a short-term vacation rental. So what that has done, and I was explaining this to Mayor Krokobat today, is now everybody's coming out of the woodwork to get their licenses, because in order for them to be compliant with the province, they must be registered by May the 1st. Which has sparked a flurry in our building services department. Not to mention all of the inspections that have had to happen as a result, because all of the regulations have to be met. As of May 1st, we will have the authority as administration to be able to apply to remove individuals who are not licensed within the district of Port Hardy, who have licenses, and have them removed from Airbnbs and cancel their rentals.
So this is where they're all getting excited.
So everybody is coming in. Where we're gonna run into some issues, and they haven't come forward yet, are those that are potentially operating more than one rental. They're going to be unfortunately permitted to only have one unit, so per the regulation.
what about, where are we at with regards to those that are running Airbnbs that aren't registered or just non-compliant at this particular time?
So right now, we're getting lots of applications coming in so that they can be compliant, and those that aren't compliant will be given the authority to be able to go on and actually have their listings removed from from Airbnb, Vrbo, any of those sites, so they wouldn't be able to actually advertise any further and then do further enforcement on those.
Okay, right on.
And so at ABICC, with a number of us attended a workshop too that was talking about Airbnbs and how the different booking, online booking agencies are coming on board with the province. And if an Airbnb doesn't come on that has a business license, they won't even allow them to be on the sites. So.
Could we get a report on how many short-term rentals we have once,
Once it,
maybe after the end of May or something after? Just so that we can, if we need to reconsider anything in the plan.
any other comments? Moving on, we have the minutes of the committee, the whole meeting held April 9th for information. Any comments? We have the draft minutes of the Emergency Preparedness Committee meeting held March 25th, 2024 for information. Comments? Councilor Tipperary?
No. Again, we emphasize the water supply,
Mhm.
and we'll keep on top of that one. It's gonna be a dry year.
Kathy moved on that.
She did, Councilor Robertson was just asking
Okay.
about,
Good.
Kathy, and, she is filling in
Oh, I see.
at the regional district for the emergency coordinator
Yeah.
for the regional district.
Mhm.
And she's a good fit.
Yeah, no, she's been there,
Yeah.
done it for a long time.
All right, moving on, Finance Department, the March 2024 check and EFT list report for information. You will sign along the checks. Stephanie.
If I may, I've given you a whole quarter in your agenda there. So that's
why.
it's okay. Go, yeah, it's the whole quarter, so 2.9. So this is, if you're on the bottom of page 7 on your agenda is where it actually starts for March.
Mhm,
And that's just March's, which was 754, which makes much more sense. But
mhm.
we now know what we spent for the quarter. 2.9. So I better jump up fast before Janet went.
What?
Hi.
A lot of checks, BCI do.
Still a lot of checks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I burnt out at the end one day.
No,
it's this is the whole quarter, this is just March.
Okay.
Spend a lot of money.
in the border we do.
Yeah. And. So any comments? Right, so from our Director of Financial Services, Normie Isaac, starting the application to the Asset Management Planning Program. Hey, would you like to speak to this?
Sure, thank you.
Mhm.
It's becoming more and more pressured, I'd say, probably to get an asset management plan for all classes. We have like our tangible capital assets, of course, are, you know, covered closely, but when you get into all your classes, the government's getting so that they're, it started with funding a while ago where they want more information about all your assets, and have an asset management plan helps with that. But going forward, the local government data entry system is also going to be asking people to have it more, or municipalities, I should say, more detailed and broke apart. So that includes having your useful life of your assets, the condition of your assets, going right from like infrastructure services. So it'd be your engineering, so roads, bridges, culverts, stormwater, and then transportation. So you'll have your signages, lights, traffic, and then road and fleet, which makes sense, you know, your machinery, equipment, and your fleet. So you take all of those, and then, so part of this, getting a good asset management plan together is to be able to not only help with your reporting, but be able to take you through what condition your assets are in, the amount of life you have left in them, and then what your costs are gonna be as you get going forward. So it really helps your community, everybody be able to know where we're going in the future and what we need. So UBCM has 2 openings for applications this year, one in May and one in September. I felt like to get in on the May one right away, because usually over the summer, that's a little bit quieter time for me to be able to throw a lot of time into it to help get it started. And of course, there'll be lots of other people involved besides just myself. I wanted to work, I asked for a proposal from Citywide because we've got all our tangible capital assets in Citywide, and they've been governing that, and we've got that nice and clean. And we also have had, back in 2017, I think it was, when they first started with Citywide, they had a student come in and do a good mapping on a lot of like the, a lot of the inventory. So some of that information's already in there. So I just thought it seemed to make sense that would be going straight to those guys to ask them to help with it, because we already have a lot of our assets there. So building that is about a 6-month project, going from, and I've detailed some of them on the list there of what we would be looking at. They gave me some reports of where, looking at our assets already, which will, we have 325 assets that are in there. We're 95 compliant on our quantities and stuff like that, so which that really helps because it's in that system already. Where we would be starting over with someone else. The asset retirement obligation that we're just now finally getting to the end of kind of has also pushed us towards the asset management plan, because you need to get that so you know for sure what your risks are going forward and when you're going to need that money. Any questions?
Councilor Jordan.
So why is it coming out of the 2025 budget?
So it's a crossover. So the grant is up to $25,000 or 50% of your project. We kind of thought it was gonna be down around the mid-40s, but thought might as well take it right to the 50,000 part and see where we come to. So we figure talking with the representative from Citywide and myself, and I've talked to Heather, of course, is that the grant money will get us through to this fiscal year. And then then the next $25,000 where we're gonna be implementing a lot of training and going through would come out of our next ops or capital projects.
Okay, thank you.
And it would have been the same way if we started in September, but September would have been a really hard time to start a new project like that.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions? So there is a recommendation that the district apply to the UBCM Asset Management Planning Program for $25,000 to develop and implement an official asset management plan. And that pre-approval of the district's proportion of $25,000 be allocated in the 2025 capital plan from general surplus. Moved by Councillor Tidbury, seconded by Councillor Doyle. Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. We have bylaw number 1174-2024, that's it for Hardy's tax rates for 2024 for first, second, and third readings. Councillor Tiffany,
Motion.
second by Councillor Texmo. I'm wondering if our Director of Finance wants to speak to this a little bit.
Yes, thank you. Actually, when we're looking at the changes this year, with the first report there on the tax levy, that we know that our increase in the municipal tax is 4.95%. And to our residents is 4.2. But the differences were really, really close when you're looking at the graphs, like the changes over the last 3 years when I was looking through it and entering the information from the tax BC assessment. I thought was these last 3 years has been really, really close, like, 57%, 59%, 58. We went up 7 houses on residents between 23 and 24, 1 business, and then we lost 1 nonprofit. It's nice to see that the assessments have settled down, I guess I would say.
Mhm.
I did it a couple of years ago and there was a really 2020, I think you guys really had a big assessment jump, right?
Mhm.
So, for a single family, this coming down to the bottom, that's 2.6 when you take off the your basic grant. And at 11% change on the BC assessment on assessed values is like hardly anything really when you look at it. So that's nice to see too. And then of course the Mount Waddington, I think the regional district had a bit of an increase, but 2.3%. I just thought that this was a pretty nice, clear tax bylaw changes this year. And nice numbers to be in.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Do you have anything to add?
No, I just in terms of the kind of showing the comparison, which is what I have up on the screen right now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to show information that we had missed last year, which we had to bring back, just to ensure that you could see kind of what was going on with the businesses, so just showing that comparative, but also showing just kind of what that overall impact is to the residential taxpayer themselves. Which of course, there was a question today, and I will actually hand this out as well, but this is information that we provide to the taxpayers going forward, which also simplifies the information, which shows
Oh, great.
the difference in the different
Thank you.
classes of
Okay.
assessment, but also shows what the levies were. Oh, you all have yours, thank you. Perfect. And for you, and I'm sorry you don't have one, Trina, or the people on screen, here you go. You have yours caught up and pressed before it goes out in the tax notices. But this information that's contained on here is exactly the same as what Norman has already presented, but just simplifies it down so that there's a quick snapshot for the resident to be able to understand where that's happened. And as you'll recall, in the past, we've had higher levies, like last year we had 6.9% for us. I think regional district was up 10.1. But of course, the overall impact last year, even with all of those increases, was about 5.2% on the residential taxpayer, because our assessments actually shifted and changed a little bit. So even though we had such a high impact, but then also when you do the comparative across the board, which was the question that was asked of me today, was this tax rate percentage. And so when we look at this sheet, and you'll see that you have the overall at the bottom of 4.2%.
Yeah.
But then you see that Vancouver Island Regional Library at the 25%. It's because it's 25% over its existing levy, what it was last year.
Mhm.
But the number actually isn't as great as the total bottom line. So just to kind of look, it's based on the totals and not the percentages added up.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Councilor
I don't
Norwood?
have any questions, but propose an amendment to the bylaw, and that is in item 8 penalties, the date be corrected to 2024.
Yeah.
It says 2023, just a typo, but it's in there twice in that, so just updating that. typo.
Oh, that is,
And I spent some time with the parliamentarian for the ABICC resolution session, and I've learned that you gotta vote on the amendment, then you go back to the original motion as amended.
okay.
Mhm.
In case anybody wants to.
You did an awesome job.
I only did.
So we have we have a motion on the floor to amend the bylaw. We have a mover, Councilor Dorwitz, seconder, Councilor Dugas. All in favor of the amendment to the bylaw? Any opposed? So then we go to moving the bylaw number 1174-2024, district report hard tax rates for 2024, first, second, third readings.
With
as
the amendment.
amended.
Mhm.
Moved by Councillor Kidbury, seconded by Councillor Exmo. Any questions? All in favor?
Had to begin.
Carried. Thank you.
But on that, I don't know if we were supposed to withdraw. or-
Mhm.
You can ace this.
We'll make it.
You good? Okay,
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Getting close to being,
right?
the rules.
Mhm.
The ones that are rarely used.
Mhm.
Yeah. So council reports. Councilor Dorwitz.
Thank you. Well, as 5 of us did, I attended the Association of Vancouver Island Coastal Communities Conference. It was my last duty as executive there, and it was the most fun part of the year. Needless to say.
Mhm.
But they had lots of really good sessions. I thought actually the whole conference was really good, other than the time going over on the one day.
Yeah, it's timing was,
Make it tough, right? Because you got all these important speakers afterwards and you don't want to like shoot them, so.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought that the content was exemplary and. Yeah, so, but the kind of ones, I really like the housing one. I got some ideas for housing in our community. One of the speakers was sitting beside me and they were. Getting some ideas going, that's good. And then also the contractor that spoke at that, I don't know who, I know that you were there, but he just like dealt with straight goods. He didn't hold anything back about how much of a struggle it is. More in the bigger centers for contractors than in our community, but I told him, come to our community, build.
Mhm.
I don't think he's coming, but. And the session with Tracy Lawrenson, she's a speaker, she's a former lawyer, really great.
What
oh,
was the Sunday one?
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Striking the balance, engagement and respect. That was so good. In ways to provide councils and elected officials how they can help ensure a workplace and their own space in life that is free from bullying and harassment, because we're seeing more and more of that in the news, fortunately.
Mhm.
Our community is amazing and we don't experience that here very strongly anyway. So appreciate the community allowing us to work for them. And then I also attended the chamber lunch. It was out at the API restaurant, the Vancouver It's
Kind of like Jackson.
Yeah, she's so good, and North Island College paid for that. And they did a presentation there about their upcoming work readiness program, so it'll be a schooling and job placement 2 weeks, 2 different places. So yeah, it's good when we get some more people in the workforce that way, I think.
I think that's read it now.
Yeah. And so that's the highlights from me.
Mr. Getzler.
Short one for me. I wasn't able to make the last council meeting, so since then, we had our triangular dinner, which was
Mhm.
awesome again. Still meet with everyone and bring some things to light. Other than that, I attended that spring festival that the recreation department put on, and it was awesome. Everybody loved it. Kids were smiling, laughing, having fun. Lots of things to do for kids, more than I couldn't imagine. Actually walking in there, bouncy castles that were like almost 20 feet tall that you could climb up ladders, and a ball pit, and just everything you can think of. So it was awesome. Thank you guys for putting that on. And then, like, again, thank you to the businesses, Sage Wolf, Ace Hardware, Hardy Bay Drugstore, Subway, McDonald's, A&W Save On there for putting that on. And donating to that's great. Like I always say, recreation for the community is great, especially indoor recreation on days like that. And if it's raining out, people love to be inside. So again, thanks. It's awesome. Everyone, I know all my friends love bringing their kids there, and everyone had a good time. So it's good. That's it.
Counselor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I attended the AVICC. I agree, Janet, that speaker on Sunday, absolutely amazing. She could have been our keynote speaker, like really engaging. That was pretty, really incredible. I also attended the Farm to Table, and that was really quite an incredible pre-tour. I thought that was just phenomenal. The learning about, the farms that they have down there, greenhouses, growing pigs as well. But what a difference to actually have food that was like grown right there and then to the table. I couldn't speak more about it. I was like, beans. We're having beans for our lunch, but they were so good because they're like fresh right there. It was pretty special. So yeah, I love the resolution process. We got through them all. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. So good job to you, Janet, being on the committee and organizing that. And came home sick. So I missed a couple of my meetings, and yeah, so I'll have more to report next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Tidbury.
Sort of busy. Going on with the BC Seniors Advisor advocate, I should say, David Leverton. And we met with the seniors, and the biggest topic was the dental, and how it's not very good. And we got some examples. He learned about different individuals in the I guess there was about 25 people there, and that was listening to him. So and I think the guy's is a natural fit. I think he's gonna just be great in that job. AVICC did that. I enjoyed the function. It was great. The only drawback was the dinner at the end. It was just too noisy in there. It was you couldn't talk very well, but that's because it was all bouncing all over and things like that. I did one of the tours. The tours I took was to Weston's farm. I highly recommend that, going to see that. That was just amazing on what they do there. They have a nursery as well as the seedlings, and right from picking the seedlings off the trees and what I didn't know, they just pick one at a time off there, and then put it in a little bag, and then how the pollen is sorted and mixed, and how they mix them all up, and then the trees and the rows and rows of trees and the different species. Something else I didn't know was that the different species have different time zones in the year that they seed, so they don't contradict and seed another tree in a particular time. And it was,
Oh, that feels much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
I
you.
think the other team just scored.
Did they? Okay, but the resolution page, I'm a big fan of that, and it went very well till the end.
Yes. Mhm.
The end, the last resolution that was, what did they call it? A special resolution
Sure.
off the floor. It's quite obviously that our message of farm fishing is not getting out to the southern part of the island. And we'll have to, before we go to the next convention, we're gonna have to see how we can rectify that.
Education for everyone. would be
Yeah.
Really good.
More education.
So even just on the life cycle of a sea louse.
Yes, that, yeah, because it definitely wasn't, the message wasn't getting out. And then the same for the forestry industry. The one resolution that came up there, the message is not getting out from the companies of what work they are doing out there. The other things I did was Philomedes meeting. It's coming along just fine. We're still in the early stages and stuff like that. And you might like to know that I have my letter from FireSmart. Oh, that I can fire off the fireworks.
Even if there's a fire ban? Jimmy?
Yes, I have that permit to say that I can fire them off. There will be a ban for sure, because one of the things that I attended also was the wildfire and the types of the type of weather that we're going to have, and how we can kind of fix our own areas up of preventing wildfires. I attended the regional district on behalf of Dennis here, so it was nice to connect with the individuals down there, and that went kind of well. And I brought again up my concern about the transportation situation within the hospital system, as well as the outpatient situation. I think it's my final meeting of twinning. I'm not sure. We dissolved the society, right?
Yes, we did.
So we've dissolved the society, but it's not going away. We're having another in-house twinning committee now. I attended the last meeting of the Concert Society for this year, and the money is actually start to roll in. BHP and Weston and the district here have come to the plate, and so we'll be going for another year for sure.
Good.
Good news.
And you missed that fantastic concert.
No, I didn't.
Oh, some did,
Some,
but it was awesome. It was awesome.
Good. I heard it was really good.
Oh, it was. It's a shame that not a lot of people go to that to the North Island concert. Not as big as crowd I would like to see.
Mhm.
And that's basically me, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Counselor Dugas.
Yeah, short and sweet. Filmy days, yeah, we're still looking for some people to help out with the stage, setting up the stage. It can be done days ahead and taken down days after, so we're still looking for boys for that. They talked to the Rotary, but they're volunteers as well, so they don't have a big group that want to take it on, but they said some of them would help, so we gotta do that. For those of you that have been going by the thrift store, the Port Hardy Hospital Auxiliary roof is now completed. We got a brand new roof finally. So we're pretty excited about that. We're still collecting funds or donations to help cover the cost. And there are tickets still available for the Mother's Day draw for their prizes, and they can be picked up at the thrift store. Yeah, and other than that, I had an opportunity to go to Edmonton to spend a special weekend with my daughter. It was her 50th birthday, believe it or not. And I got to go see the Canucks beat the Oilers and win first place in their division. So that was pretty exciting.
Nice.
It wasn't very
That
exciting
went
for
over
the
well
Oilers.
with the Oilers fans?
Well, there was quite a few Canuck fans there. It was kind of cool. Vintas, we had our marketing meeting, and one of the things that they'd asked us at the meeting was some of the communities have what they call a newsletter, and I know we hand it out every quarter, something with regards, and they were just wondering whether some of the information that they're putting out could be included. But when I look at our newsletter, woo, it's pretty full already, but
Get in early.
okay,
Yeah.
I will let them know that then. Perfect, thank you. North Island Seniors Housing Foundation, we're still waiting from BC Housing with regards to our community housing fund. Haven't heard anything yet, so that's so far, it's good news. My contacts there said you'll hear soon, but soon, who knows what soon means, I'm not sure. But we're looking forward to that. And that meeting with Dan Levitt, the seniors advocate, that was awesome. I really thought that was great. Really great information. And I'm gonna follow up with him because he mentioned to me about where you're at with your housing project for the seniors, and so I'm putting something together and sending it off to him, so you can have a look at that. And last, I would like to thank Janet for her dedication to supporting our region at the ABICC, because we had to talk her into getting her name in there two years in a row, and she got on last year, and thank you for representing us. Now, I'm not sure who took your place with regards to that, and what area that they represented. Do you guys remember?
3 were newly elected.
Yeah, 3.
Anything from the north?
No, Campbell River is.
That's it,
Campbell River's furthest north.
furthest
Yeah.
north?
Travis is on, isn't
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's not one of the new ones.
Yeah, he's not one of the
No,
new
we don't.
director at large.
No,
He was the only, yeah, no, so there was 2 new directors at large, because there was one that, yeah, one that was already on there and 2 new ones.
yeah,
Because none had run,
before,
everyone was nominated right before.
all right, okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Janet, for doing that.
Welcome, thanks for convincing me. But
You're gonna continue to go. That's right.
everybody voted for me and everybody got everybody else voted. for me, so that's very nice.
Yeah, it was awesome that you did that, representing our true North Island.
I got a few
Thank you.
North Island words in from time to time.
Thank you, that's it, Mayor, thank you.
Counselor Robertson.
Yeah, I was, thank you. I was at the Concert Society, and I should point out, Van Morrison used to be on very heavy rotation in our household. So oddly enough, I knew most of the tunes that he played. It was really good, and it was very encouraging, as John said, to hear everybody, businesses and people stepping up to the plate, so that your concert will be a year next year as well. So that's good to know. Dennis's comment made me think, as I was watching TV the other day, there was an ad for the North Island, one of Vintas's, I think, that came on, and it was some unusual channel like MSNBC or something. So those ads were getting out. I don't know. And I was equally impressed with the seniors advocate, but everybody else talked about that. I was at ABICC, and I think Trina mentioned the farm to table tour, which I was able to go on to, and she said everything was really good. The one comment, and it really was good, I can't, was that when we went through the pig barn was, someone's comment was, yeah, we went in, got to meet the pigs, and then we ate them. So,
Yeah, that's what they're there.
yeah, again, everything people had already mentioned, that things, particularly the wildland and fire resiliency, which I went to as well, and, we're in a better position than many, but not, one where one doesn't have to be vigilant.
Mhm.
I did appreciate, Tracy's talk. I think, sometimes we congratulate ourselves for our council working well. Which it does, but again, that's our job too, that we're doing our job, and
Mhm.
so and some councils just don't work there. And the one thing, on the motion from the floor, I do like all of the resolutions, and they're all, come from various councils, even the late resolutions come from various councils, and go through the executive and that whole process, and are brought forward and are coming from councils. The challenging one is the one that John mentioned, and it didn't really come, and it doesn't have a chance to come from a council. And that's a challenge, so it's not vetted by the executive, it's not gone through, so any information that's wobbly, makes it onto the floor, it just takes it. It's something that, should I get my act together, I will write the executive about that potential changes to the rules, that all of these other well thought out motions, and I'm not saying that it wasn't thought out, but that motion didn't necessarily come from a council, that was discussed at a council table and put forward in the time council table, and been through the process to make it to the floor of ADICC.
Mhm.
And so I think I see that as a bit of an issue and a bit of a problem. So I will write and bring it up. Yeah, plus they kind of ticked me off at one point too, so,
You did a very good job there, Fred.
yeah,
It was awesome.
anyway. Anyway. My mic was surprisingly cut off.
You ran out of time?
Kind of ticked me off.
Kind
Anyway,
of ticked everybody off when one person's mic is cut off and nobody else's
Yeah.
is cut off, even though they went anyway. That's a
Mhm.
whole nother story.
Mhm.
anyway, that's me, sorry. Thanks.
Thank you. So I too went to ABICC and went to the housing workshop, and it was really good having BC Builds with Lisa Helps as the I don't remember, she's not executive director,
She's
but
an advisor to the premier.
she's executive lead for BC Builds, and she presenting it, and it was interesting. And having the Mayor Staples from Duncan and then Mayor Wells from Courtney talking about their different supportive housing projects that they're doing in their community for different models that can be done on supportive housing. At lunch, the mayors were invited to a mayor's meeting, and what it basically was the Mayor Atleo from Victoria did a report on a project Victoria's doing on community safety and well-being initiative. And so it's much bigger than what we could ever do, but once their project is done, I'm sure there's gonna be different things that we can pull from it for our community. So it was really interesting. Right now, they're just in the development stages and doing community meetings and doing outreach and surveys and stuff like that, but it sounds very interesting, and it's looking at the community safety and well-being, not just it's for all citizens of Victoria, not just one particular group, it's all citizens. So it's striking a balance. Let's see, what else have I done? At ABICC, Oh, at ABICC, I met with the Island Health President, Board Chair, and Vice President of Population and Public Safety, along with Mayor Buchanan and Mayor Bernie, about stressing again that we want our hospitals back open 24/7 as soon as possible. And we have heard it's not the doctors or lack of doctors, it's the lack of ER trained nurses. And but they are working on it. Mayor Bernie's come up with some interesting ideas about shifting some times. So they're going to talk to the union at the hospitals and see if some things can be changed that make it more innovative. Talked about the transportation, and so brought that to their attention. We also thank them for hiring an emergency coordinator to work with the traffic vans during the emergency time that we're occurring. And the EOC has been stood down, but that doesn't mean the emergency hasn't been stood down. So Island Health has hired a temporary coordinator to work with the tri-bands in the community. As well, the tri-bands are hiring, in the midst of hiring a coordinator from the First Nations Health, and they will be working together with the different communities as well as with the district, and organizing things for the year, working together. With the youth meeting that I've attended almost every Monday evening with a wide range of people, and that it went to every 2 weeks, which was fine. And then on Monday, the person that's been leading it said that she needs to stand down from doing that. And everybody was really quiet around the table, and someone came up and said, she'll run the meetings. It's too early to break up. Everybody was interesting. There's 50 people on the list to come to meetings. Regularly, there's been 20 to 30 people show up for these meetings, from all, like Island Health, from First Nations Health Authority, Y-Star, from Foundry, from myself from the district, just a whole broad range of people coming to this meeting, all wanting to work to make things better for the youth. And, oh, that's the other thing I mentioned to Island Health about having a youth shelter. And as well, I went to the BC Nonprofit Housing Authority Conference in Courtenay, and I didn't realize what a big conference this was. There probably was about 300 people there, and started at 7:30 in the morning, went to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, lots of different sessions. Good networking. At lunchtime, I sat at a table. I didn't know very many people at this conference. I sat at a table and said, do you mind if I sit here? And they go, no. They were all BC housing people. It was great. It was a great table to network and that. And yeah, so the twinning is going forward, but under a different aspect. And did want to mention about the concert society, and when I went to the concert with the Van Morrison songbook, and it was amazing. The musicians are so flippin' talented, just incredibly talented. But I think almost every person on the executive came up to me and said, thank you to the district for coming forward to help us out. And they were so appreciative of everybody coming forward. And so I just thought it's such an important thing, and we just need to figure out some way to help them spread the word more, that it's not just for white-haired people.
Or shiny heads.
Or shiny heads. I had invited my grandson because he really likes rock and roll too, but he'd been fishing until 6 o'clock, and he texted me, goes, Grandma, do you mind if I don't come with you? And it's like, yeah, you're tired, that's fine. But so many of the young people would enjoy it too. And it's just getting them there. So getting that news out. And I think that's about it for me.
If I can just add one that.
Yeah.
That just brought me a little reminder that we're getting 4 student nurses coming to the North End.
Right. Yeah, that's the grad, so hopefully they'll, stay, but they aren't ER trained nurses.
Yeah.
But we are getting more nurses and they are doing a training, a pilot project. I don't know if I've mentioned this before at the hospital.
Emergency.
That in the emergency department, they're doing a pilot training program for emergency room nurses that's accredited. And it's been so successful, they're gonna be offering it again in September. And they've got people from out of the community that want to come in for it, so hopefully, but we want the hospital open sooner than later. Information and announcements, there's lots of things coming up. I think the only thing that's missing from there is the, May 2nd, the Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women's Day. Is
Mhm.
happening on May 2nd, 11 o'clock out at Saki's out at Port Rupert. And, it's open to all. And so, I know our Deputy Director, Corporate Services will be sharing it widely on social media. Anything else that's, this? We've got a to be confirmed notice of in-camera meeting and motion to adjourn. Counselor Sexton. Thank you.
It is confirmed
Oh, it is confirmed.
Monday. It's in your calendars.
It's in, well, it is in my calendar, but I'm reading from on there.
What's this one?
Yeah, Tammy.
Pertaining to your Port Hardy animal shelter here. The dogs got euthanized after 14 days and you couldn't, find any opportunities for you to take them to the rescue groups or SPCA. I find that